My name is Duncan Sherwood-Forbes, and welcome to Virtue Signaling on the Taxpayer's Dime. This presentation is all about the Transparency in Technology Act, otherwise known as SB 7072. This bill was proposed in April 2021 and seeks to regulate what social media companies can and cannot do. This all has to do with the idea of deplatforming, which is when a social media user is banned from the service for violation of the rules. To my left, you can see the fact sheet released by the Florida legislature regarding this bill, and it actually looks pretty good, so let's take a closer look. All right, so one pro of the bill is it will tame those long and unintelligible terms of service agreements. Another great thing would be stopping the deplatforming we mentioned earlier, because currently social media companies can kick anyone off for violation of their arbitrary and unequally applied rules. The bill supporters argue that deplatforming is infringing upon freedom of speech, and that everyone, especially politicians, have a right to use social media as a venue for communication. This touches on the idea that the internet should be a public utility. The argument that the internet should be free and open to all has been around for a minute, and with social media so ubiquitous in modern society, it is true that being deplatformed is a big loss in terms of reaching your target audience. But wait, you're probably asking yourself right now, aren't social media companies private? How can the government tell them what they can and cannot host? Despite the valid argument that social media should be treated as a utility, it simply isn't. No matter how much ranting and raving about the right to free speech, as private businesses, social media companies have every right to create their own terms of service and decide what type of speech they want to host. In fact, it is impinging upon the First Amendment rights of the social media companies to force them to host content they disagree with. While censorship at the governmental level constitutes a violation of free speech, at the private level, that argument falls apart. And not only that, there is case law that provides a precedent for fighting back against the Transparency in Technology Act. The 1974 Supreme Court case, Miami Herald Publishing Co. versus Tornillo, established that newspapers could not be forced to print media they disagreed with, and social media companies are an easy 21st century analog to newspapers. Because of this, SB 7072 will be completely unenforceable. So why waste time on this bill? You can thank Florida Governor DeSantis here. He, like many Republicans, is trying to build his brand as a tough on tech conservative. The result is this bill, a toothless farce that's honestly nothing but virtue signaling. And virtue signaling that is being done on the taxpayer's dime. Shame on you, DeSantis. Shame on you. Here are my sources. Thank you.